The rookie linebacker.
There it is, the drop heard around the world. And my man, we saw it together, the great Dennis Fithian. I mean, what can you say about that as we welcome you into Football Friday? I'm Dan Leach, that's Dennis Fithian. I mean, Dennis, could there be a more Lions thing than that?
No, it sucks. I mean, it sucks. It's painful. It's reminiscent of last year when they were, up 24-6, this time 23-6. It was reminiscent of Patricia's first year when they were tied at 17 in the third quarter against the Jets and gave up 31 unanswered. They very ironic that, the offseason they talked about being able to finish games and even had a motto to it, and then cough it up like that. And, the big thing here is, the way the Packers looked, the way Kyler Murray looked with Hopkins in Arizona. We know that the Saints have won 13 games the last 2 years. I mean, they're staring down the barrel of 0-4. And if that happens heading into a bye week, I don't think we're going to be talking about the bearded one.
No, and listen, it's one of these things. And by the way, this Football Friday is a joint production of the Task Force. And good afternoon, so we appreciate you being here. Fifth, I'll tell you this. I've been I don't want to say a huge supporter, but I've been a big believer in Matt Patricia. I think he made a lot of mistakes, but I think he was misunderstood in year one as well. He tried to clean it up in year two, had the knee injury, was, carting himself around, tried to, have a kumbaya moment with the media, tried to obviously improve as an NFL head coach. Then his starting quarterback gets hurt, and this season's kind of a disaster. But I'll just say this. I think maybe down the road, someplace he will be a good coach, but I have lost all faith that he is a good coach because right now he's not. And let's be honest, the Lions, I'm not saying they're a great team, but they should have won that game. And I think you look at maybe 20 to 24 other teams in the NFL in the same situation, having a 98% chance of winning that game in the fourth quarter, and it's not on Swift, and it's not on Coleman getting hurt or Jamie Collins' stupid play. It's all that together that cost them the game. And guess where it starts, Fifth? It starts at the top. So I think right now I have to accept Matt Patricia is not a good head coach.
Yeah, well, that's pretty obvious just based on where he's at here and the amount of fourth quarter leads that he's given up. The one part I disagree with you, I don't think he's going anywhere and having any success as a head coach. Nobody's hiring there. You think that maybe he could do something as a line coach and ultimately maybe as a defensive coordinator again. I didn't think he was a very good defensive coordinator in New England. So they were all happy that he left after he gave up the over 500 yards to the Eagles and that Super Bowl loss when Brandon Graham stripped the ball from Tom Brady. All the Patriot fans were ready to drive him to Detroit. And yeah, he's been a disaster here. And you know what? He had his idea defensively. He was doing things that other teams weren't. And I like being out of the box and zigging when other people zagging, except when, you're getting pelted like that. You've got to adjust. And he's not a very good coach at adjusting. That's for sure.
And by the way, this is clarified. I said he might be successful down the road. I'm not saying he's going to be, but no, I'm glad you brought that up because I think, and I know it seems like you disagree with me on this. I think he is smart. I think he knows football very well, but coaching and being a head coach is a much different situation. So obviously week one sucked, Dennis.
There's a lot of smart people that aren't good football coaches. I mean, I don't know if he's smart or not. Like football smart, I don't know. Like whatever his plan was, him not being able to adapt and adjust, then you could be the smartest guy out there. But if you aren't ready and don't have some real world smarts, man, you can end up. He should adjust, and he hasn't, and he won't. And it's going to cost him his job maybe in 3 weeks from now.
Yep, I think it's a definite possibility. And listen, in week one debacle, again, the Lions had a 98% chance winning in the fourth quarter. But how about this week? Lions at not the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. At least they're there in September. It'll be nice outside. Packers a 6-point favorite. People seem to we didn't forget about him, but maybe people around the league forget Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. All he did was score in the 40s last week and throw multiple touchdown passes on the road at Minnesota. Every time you looked up, another Packer touchdown. Al Lazard, Devontae Adams, so many good weapons there in Green Bay. Fifth, how do you see Packers and Lions? I know you kind of were alluding to maybe 0-4 for the Lions to start. So I would guess you think the Packers win this one.
Yeah, well, when you look at the injury report, Justin Coleman's on the IR, so he's not going to be available. Desmond Trufant, he didn't practice. He doesn't look like he's going to play. Kenny Galladay doesn't look like he's going to play. Hal Vatai over there on the right side, he looks like he's going to be out for this one. That all spells on the road, even if there's nobody in the stands, it's still outdoors. And the good news is that they have Okudah, but you know what? I think Devontae Adams will eat, and I think Aaron Rodgers, like he always does, will just dice them up. I thought that this line would be 9.5, and so I was surprised to see it go 6.5. I'll still take the Pack to cover that one. I'll put them at 30 to 20.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, when it comes to, this Green Bay team, and I don't think that they did a tremendous amount in the offseason to address some of their needs and need, including wide receiver, but it looks like they might not have needed to. That being said, you got LaFleur in year 2. You got one of the best quarterbacks ever in Aaron Rodgers. You got a Lions team that seems to always be star-crossed and snake-bitten against this Packers team. And how can I pick the Lions to win this game? I mean, being on the road at Lambeau isn't what it would be in a normal year, but after what happened in game 1, Mitch Trubisky could not have been worse for 3+ quarters. The Lions still find a way to gap it away. You mentioned Coleman. Okudah's been banged up. Swift's been banged up. Kenny Galladay's been banged up, probably won't play. So there's no way I can pick the Lions. Is there a chance it could be close? Sure. But for now, after week 1, another heart-wrenching, horrific debacle, I'm going to say Green Bay, I'm around where you're at. I'm 24-14, 27-17, something like that. I think the Lions will not be able to slow down Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and the Packers offense.
Yeah, good point about Aaron Jones, man. He's something else. Like, he had 19 touchdowns last year. I know they got the rookie from BC. He's a bruiser too. LaFleur marrying that up. Like, I wouldn't have taken Love in the first quarter, but one thing it does, and one thing that it did, we know that it ticked off Aaron Rodgers, and I think he's going to make other teams pay here, especially the early go. And he's on his own revenge tour of his own GM and every other team. So let's just have a hard time seeing any way that the Lions can keep it close.
Yeah, and they're showing Smile's Adrian Peterson right there on your screen. Listen, 14 carries, 93 yards, 6.6 yards a carry. Awesome. But is that going to be able to continue to happen for a 35-year-old running back that obviously is a future Hall of Famer? But Kerryon Johnson, irrelevant. DeAndre Swift, rookie, but a little banged up. At least he was in the game action and almost had a chance to win it for the Lions. But you look at what Rodgers did, and Scantling, and all these different weapons, I think it's going to be very, very, very tough fifth for the Lions to win in Green Bay. I'm going to say they'll hang in for a minute, but I'm taking the Packers -6 in that one.
Yeah, I think they'll hang in for a minute too, but then the other 59 minutes is going to be all Packers.
just for 1 minute, Fit? Hanging for 1 minute?
That's it. You said it. A minute. I think they'll be in it for a minute.
All right. Well, listen, you and I both picked the games well last week. We were both 2-1. So are you ready for a little Fithian Leach NFL Pick Festival?
I am.
All right, let's do it. Fithian Leach always give you the winners. And let's start here, my friend, with a very interesting game. You got the Rams and the Eagles. Rams, love them on Sunday Night Football. I was over them all week. They get the job done. And, Dallas came back towards the end, couldn't get it done. The Eagles, though, the biggest stinker of the week, they lose to the Washington Football Team as 7-point road favorites. This game in Philadelphia, you can't go 0-2, Dennis. That's real bad. How do you see Rams traveling East Coast, Midwest, Eagles picking?
Yeah, this line's way off. I think the Rams are going to go into Philly and pop them. It's really, when you come down to it, the Eagles, they just have the injuries too, and it's on that offensive line. I mean, they're starting 2 guys that have never played in an NFL game last week, and it showed. I know they'll have Miles Sanders back, and Rager is pretty good for them, and Goddard and Ertz, and, they'll be desperate, but the thing is, it's not like, the Rams, they opened up the stadium, played the Cowboys. I didn't even think they played their best game, but they looked pretty good to me. I thought Goff they could have won that game by a lot more. They missed a field goal early on. I like their trio of running backs. I love the Rams in this spot. I'll take them 23-17.
Hey, Fifth, your analysis was perfect. I love the Rams too. I just think in this game, Eagles, backs against the wall, Wentz. You have Zach Ertz. You've got this. Obviously, you have to win this game. You cannot lose at home after losing to the Washington Redskins or the former Washington Redskins. And I think the Rams are a team that are being slept on. There's questions defensively, but Sean McVay in that offense, I think is going to be humming along all year long. And there's a little guy that I'm going to talk about coming up when we talk low price daily fantasy.
Little guy.
Yeah, little guy sitting in a bit coming up there. But I think, not that travel's the same with no fans, Fifth, but it's still, I think, to be honest, in this COVID era, even if you're traveling fancy like the NFL does, it's still stressful with the testing, having to stay in a hotel, basically quarantining. So travel is still going to matter this year. Eagles backs against the wall. I think it's, the Eagles defense is good enough to slow the Rams down enough to give Wentz a chance. I'm going to go Eagles by it 23-20. So we already have one game and we're on different sides. Fifth goes with the Rams. I go with the Eagles. How about this? I was wrong last week. I thought the Falcons were a great live dog against Seattle. They were not. Seattle looks like one of the best teams in the NFL right now. But now you got a Cowboys team who lost on Sunday Night Football to the Rams in that brand new SoFi $5 billion stadium with no fans. And then they're going to host the Falcons. And the Falcons with that offense, which still was solid and almost came back in the end, getting 4.5 at Jerry World. And that's going to be a weird place with no fans. How do you see Cowboys hosting the Falcons and Atlanta catching the 4.5?
Yeah, the one thing I don't like about the Cowboys, man, Van Der Esch, they hit some injuries there in week 1 too. But you know what? I think this is going to be a shootout. I like the over in this game. That's for sure. But I think the complement of the running game there with Zeke and then CeeDee Lamb all the way through with Cooper and Gallup. The Cowboys are explosive. What did the Ryan throw for? Over 450 yards, man. The first team to 40 wins this one. I think it'll be the Cowboys. I'll pick them 40-33. So I think they're going to cover.
I like you're calling the over. The total is 52 now. People are wondering. Listen, I think the Cowboys are a very good team. I think the Falcons are going to be a very good team and have tons of weapons there for Matt Ryan. I think they obviously just got off to the wrong kind of start they needed to last week. It's a really good Seattle team.
You're going back to the Dirty Birds, aren't you?
I'm going back. Russell Wilson was incredible last week. Well, listen, Dak Prescott's great, but he doesn't have the arm of Russell Wilson. The Cowboys might win this game, but that Florida hook is very intriguing to me. So I'm going to go Dallas 31-29. That'll be my official score. So I agree with you on the shootout, but I think the Falcons either somehow find a way to win it or cover that 4.5. Now, how about this one? I was very anti-Tampa last week. I said it's going to take some time for Brady, the Patriots. The Saints are a better team, and they showed that on Sunday. But Seattle, they're hosting Tom Brady, or the Tom Brady-less Patriots, as they go out west. And the way that Cam Newton looked at that first game, I don't think he made people forget about Tom Brady. He's got 6 Super Bowls. But you could see that New England is still going to play the kind of football they like to offensively. They were running the ball well. Cam didn't make any mistakes. So you've got a Cam Newton experience. I believe this is the rematch of the Super Bowl from that was against Denver. But you look at the Seahawks laying 4 at home. Is it a trap line against New England?
No, well, Matt Patricia will tell you, he knows how to win in fourth quarters. Remember he did it against the Seahawks with Malcolm Butler stepping in front of Russell Wilson. But you know what? I really like the Seahawks in this spot too. I think the Patriots are, Cam looked pretty good week 1. I know they got Belichick. He'll have a nice game plan and everything else. But Belichick said it this week, man. He thinks Russell Wilson's the best quarterback in the league. I've got no problem with Belichick saying that. I think if it was out east, it'd be a little bit different. They won't have the 13th man there or the 12th man or whatever they have, Ariana Grande up there. But I will. I'll take the Seahawks, and I think I like them big here, 28-20.
Ooh, I like it. I'm on the Sea Chickens as well. I think this is going to be a close game. I think Cam Newton showed he obviously is ready to run that New England offense in game 1, but they are traveling east to west. It doesn't matter if there's not the 12th man or woman, as you mentioned, because it's still a tough place to play. and traveling all that way out makes a difference, especially during COVID. I think Russell Wilson and that offense is incredible. I think Pete Carroll is so synergetic with that team right now. So while for maybe 3 quarters, New England's in this game, in the end, Seattle ain't going to be too good. I got Seattle 30-22. So we're different on 2 games. I like the Eagles. You like the Rams. You like the Cowboys. I like the Falcons. We're both on the Seahawks. So there you go. And I think we're going to go 2-1, Dennis. We'll both go 2-1 again. Why not?
Well, I don't know if that can happen if we got 2 different games, but
actually, yeah, one of us is going to go 1-2. One of us is going to go 2-1. I wish we could. There'll be a tie. Maybe there's a tie. All right, fifth. Another thing that we obviously really love is fantasy football. I thought we'd have some fun with this. You came up with the idea of just some fantasy football week 1 observations. How did you see the season-long action, daily fantasy, whatever you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I thought Kyler Murray, man, and DeAndre Hopkins. I was wondering if Hopkins was going to go to Arizona and be the same kind of guy he was with the Texans there. And, he wasn't. He was better. And Murray in his second year, man, he looks like he's taking that step forward. Running the ball, stepping out of bounds. He just doesn't take big hits, and his arm looks good, man. That Cardinals team, very impressive. Hopkins and Murray really stood out to me. And the other thing is that, Marlon Mack tearing his Achilles opens the door here for Jonathan Taylor. Anybody that had Jonathan Taylor, this could be one of those fantasy winning moves here with the rookie running back for the Colts behind the best offensive line in football. That's a hell of a recipe here. And he's catching a lot of balls from Phillip Rivers. If there's a PPR, half PPR, those are the couple of things that jumped out to me.
Yeah, for me, there's 2 big things. One, quarterbacks are king right now. I know a lot of people have different scoring, whether it's standard or PPR, but you look at some of the numbers on the week. And one guy, Dennis, that you and I have talked about many times, Josh Allen, who I actually told my nephew, you love the O-Wiz, told him to draft. He did. He got him late in his draft. Josh Allen, I think, is going to be a points, star guzzler this year, as he was last year. You got to throw, obviously, and run as well. You look at what Lamar Jackson was able to do. He averaged 27.5 points. Kyler Murray, Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, we know quarterbacks do well, but fifth, in a lot of years, it's the running backs that obviously get all these points, guys like McCaffrey and Barkley, and obviously last week, Josh Jacobs, who I think is going to be very solid for his fantasy owners. But I saw the quarterbacks in a big way. And also, you look at guys like a Josh Allen that I think that some people underdraft. They don't think he's sexy like an Aaron Rodgers or a Drew Brees or even a Tom Brady. But the tried and true method, Kev, is getting guys that get you points consistently every single week. And a guy like Josh Allen is going to do that. And another guy that I loved is my guy, Adam Thielen, who helped me win a title last year. He had an average of 27 points across multiple scoring platforms. And I think that Adam Thielen, even though the Vikings got their ass kicked by the Packers, he is going to be a top 5 wide receiver again. So I think maybe try to make a trade for the guy if you can't have him. If you own Adam Thielen, you're in good shape because I think Adam Thielen's going to continue having these 100-yard, multiple touchdown games. So I saw those as some very impressive things early in the year. How is the Fighting Fithian? What's the name of your team again? Not the Fighting Fithian.
Get some.
Get some. I opened up the Eye of the Jew, the champ, with a Super Bowl hangover. I lost a tough week 1 matchup. How did I get some, dude?
144-143 victory. Noah Fant getting it done with 19 points on Monday night. The one thing for quarterbacks, just like the 3-point shot, is the great equalizer and helps teams if they're able to knock those down. In basketball, the revolution we've seen the last couple of years, if you are a running quarterback, like Josh Allen, he's a good quarterback. He's not great, but his ability to go out and take off and run for 50, 60, 70, 80 yards in a game and run for some scores there, that's a huge benefit when you're talking fantasy football. Let's get to those low price stunners.
You ready for the low price stunners?
I am. The one thing, I felt good making my picks and everything, and won in fantasy league. But man, DFS, when I had my low price stunners, I had Bart Scott, who was terrible in week 1, and then I thought with Kenny Golladay being out, Marv Jones Jr. was just. I pounded Marv Jones Jr. I thought that would be great, and Scotty Miller there because Evans, I'm going. I think I got all these low price stunners, and really they went belly up. That happens sometimes. So disappointed, but I'm ready to get back up on the horse week 2.
Yeah, well, listen, you got to just shake that off and get it done. And I had some terrible lineups on Sunday as well. By the way, there were so many upsets and so many terrible picks around the country. Week 1 was a crazy week. So shake it off, get ready for week number 2. But Fifth, I love where you're going with one of your low price stunners. Here he is right here.
Yeah, out of Toledo, that is Deontay Johnson. And you know what? The one thing about Ben Roethlisberger, man, I think he gets a week to shake off the rust. I picked the Steelers to make the playoffs this year. I don't think they're going to unseat the Ravens in the AFC North. But, Big Ben loves Juju Smith-Schuster, and I can't believe that they're going to allow Juju this free reign and to run around like he did in week 1. But Deontay Johnson was out there. And I'll tell you, one of the big reasons with Big Ben being back that I like the Steelers to make the playoffs. I think they got the deepest wide receiving core in the NFL. When you just go down from Juju to Deontay Johnson to James Washington, the Blitnikoff winner out of Oklahoma State a couple of years, and then they picked was it Claypool from Notre Dame, who I liked heading into the draft this year. That's a hell of a 4 wide receivers that you're talking about there with the Steelers. Of course, we've seen it in the past with them drafting Antonio Brown. They're when it comes to wide receivers, man, the Steelers, they just come up gold, man. They know what they're doing when it comes down to picking the wideouts. And here we are again. And I'm stacking Big Ben and Deontay Johnson.
I love it. And how about Deontay Johnson, Fifth? Right now, $4,500 on DraftKings. I drafted him in my season-long fantasy league. I think that Deontay Johnson is going to become not only an incredible fantasy play and a season-long fantasy player, but there is no way he's going to be that much, that low of a price player going forward. So this is the time to scoop him up before it's too late.
I'm with you on that. Who are you going with?
All right, you can check my guy out. I mentioned I kind of did a preview earlier when I said you look at guys, that have tremendous amount of value in week number 1. How about Joshua Kelly? He's going for about 4,700. There's his first touchdown, the former UCLA Bruin. I think Joshua Kelly is going to be a monster for daily fantasy and a season-long guy as well. And Dennis, for people that don't understand, and we know that a lot of you watching are big fantasy players, daily and season-long. When we say low-price stunner, you're not going to win $10,000, $1 million, $50,000 if you have all like top-level guys. You got to have that $4,000 to $4,500 or $5,200 low-price stunner. And you gave, Ben Roethlisberger still tremendously valued, and so is obviously Deontay Johnson. A guy like Josh Kelly as well, who had a touchdown in week 1, he could maybe put you over the hump. You've got to find those kind of guys. I think Kelly's that guy, and I love him going forward. 4,700 for him.
Yeah, I picked up Kelly in my off the waiver wire. I liked, I scored the first week. Eckler with Tyrod there. Wasn't catching any passes. Could be a sneaky guy and season long. He's built. They liked him. They drafted him pretty high. I'm with you on him. I'm a big Josh Kelly fan now.
Yes, you are, and I'm a big Dennis Fithian fan. All right, before we go, my friend, I just wanted to throw this out there. I mean, it's weird. There's no fans. It's weird. We're in the middle of a pandemic and there's football, but obviously it's great. It means a lot to so many. What were your kind of feelings watching all the action on week 1 when it felt like it was obviously normal, but for me, at least, at the same time, it felt completely weird. Was that similar to you, or what was it like?
Well, you know what? It's been I worked with you one time, and I had a gout attack, so I had to miss the blue zone that we did. So I stayed home, but that was with a painful ankle and under a blanket one Sunday. Other than that, I think 2 times, maybe in 14 years, I've had Sundays off in 13, 14 years. So being able to just sit there throughout the day and have the 1, 4 o'clock, and then the Sunday night game, it was already going to be weird. The Lions game brought some normalcy there. It seemed to be kind of a snoozer at first, and then the way things went down in the fourth quarter, it made me feel like old times there. But it's not the same. It's like you have your traditional Thanksgiving every year with your family, and you like the homemade mashed potatoes, like the cranberries. You like to order up crab legs for an appetizer before you get there, and all your family's coming over. Well, this year you know what? You've maybe just got a couple people in your family and you had to have instant mashed potatoes and your turkey. But you know what? It's a holiday and you're going to try to make the best of it still, even though it's not everything that you want. And, that's the same way with football. It's just like with college football coming back in Michigan. Is it going to suck that you can't go out and make the pilgrimage to Ann Arbor and enjoy everything that you would love with the tailgate, going into the stadium and being around 110,000 of your closest fans and friends? Yeah, it's not going to be the same, but it's better than the alternative. And this is where we're at in 2020, man. You got to adjust. You got to make the best of it.
Hey, that's what we're doing each and every week here at Football Friday, and that's what we're always trying to do when we get together, Dennis. I love you, my friend, and we'll be here each and every week previewing the games, looking back. And until then, for the great Dennis Fithian, anything else before we go?
No, man. Have a great weekend. Doing a great job.
Hey, you as well. That's Dennis Fithian. I'm Dan Leach. This is Football Friday with Fithian Leach, a joint task force. Good afternoon production. Till next time, we love you and believe in the dream.